Hey, my name is Will Boyd, and we've had a lot of people asking us, how are you going from just one-on-one coaching to be able to create sort of leverage group programs? Or we've conversely had quite a few people who've reached out to us say, hey, I've been selling an online course and people aren't getting the results that I want. And it's also, turning me into a salesperson the entire time. Like I have to sell so many courses in order to make this a functional business. And so wanted to go through this and do a deep dive training for you on how we've structured our business and how we're using this to be able to help coaches, course creators out there who are looking for a way to be able to leverage their business. So this is what this is all about. We're going to dive in here. I'm going to keep this short, tactical, to the point for you, make sure that this hits home and give you like an actual walkthrough of what we're doing and how I highly recommend this is what most people move to right now if you're in this online space. So this is going to be, you can see this is Clients at Scale. That is sort of the like DBA name that we go under, which is Clients at Scale. My name's Will. I'm actually one of the co-founders of Healthy Funnel with my business partner, Alex Ingar. We are former physical therapists who's shifted into we started an online marketing agency, realized it was hard to max out we were maxing out doing one-on-one. So we leveraged that into an online course. We loved the online course, realized not as many people were completing it as we wanted to. Those that did were getting incredible results, but not as many people were getting results as we wanted. They just weren't completing the program. So we looked at how do we take advantage of, like, how do we actually create a system that gets people results and leverages our time and our ability to help people. And so I'm going to show you here how we've turned our one-on-one coaching program and agency business that we had into a scalable group program that values our time and also gets us out of this just online course, low ticket online course to a higher priced group coaching model. So let's go into this. Who's this for? So this is for coaches online in particular who are providing one-on-one services. So if you're a business coach, if you're in the health coach or personal fitness space doing online services, whether you're a life coach, you're an agency owner or some type of online service provider, this is going to be for you. It's going to be super helpful. This is also for like online course creators who are selling their programs for less than $300 and or your clients aren't getting the results that you want. And we're going to dive into that a little bit more. Who this is not for, I put some red lines through this. This is not for people seeking online passive income and people who do not have client results as a priority for their business. I'm going to dive in, really passionate about this, is that so many people want to have programs because it's about passive income and they don't take into account getting clients results, people actually getting results with their programs. And that's what our biggest thing is. We do not work with people. We don't take on clients who their priority is not getting people results. Like you've got to be able to get people results for the long-term health of your business. So that's who this is for. That's who it's not for. So if you're coming here, like I just want passive income, might not be for you. But if you're one of these, you're a coach, especially if you're in the online space, so it's a business coach, health coach, consultant, doing one-on-one stuff, agency owner or online service provider, this is going to be like perfect for you. Or you're someone who has an online course and you're like, it's just crazy to sell in terms of it takes me such a huge audience. Or my people aren't getting results, which happened to us. We had an incredible program. Like the people who completed it were getting insane return on investment. We taught an online advertising, like how do you advertise on Facebook for physical therapists, which was our niche. And we did multiple six figures of this course. But the problem was not as many people were completing it as we wanted to. And we looked at why is that? Well, there was no support system. And you're gonna see an example of this as we go through. So let's go into sort of the old models of what people are doing, and this might be you. And I just want to share real quick, like pros and cons of each, because this is really important. So the old model, if you're a consultant or coach, or a service provider, right, like is one-on-one. You work with one person at a time and you dive into them, dive into their problems, and you troubleshoot them as your service. And there's huge pros to this, right? Like people are getting individual attention and you can come up with complete custom solutions for your clients. You're just looking only in on their business and focused in on their business. But the problem with this model, as a lot of us have seen, and I come from the healthcare world where it's not scalable. And the only way that it is scalable in that model is that you have to hire a team, right? You have to hire human capital. We really just have two options, technology or human capital meaning hiring people. And for many of us, like we don't know what the technology is to do that. And so what do? We hire a team. And I don't know if you've ever hired someone, but like hiring even a part-time person or full-time, you're looking at multiple thousands to tens of thousands to even $100,000 a year in hiring a team. And even that, you're just scaling one-on-one. You're not scaling your services exponentially. And that requires new sets of problems, dealing with new humans, managing humans, all those kinds of things, which are super important. And I would never be a part of something that's, I would never say like, don't build a business around humans. Just it's a real cost, right? It's a real thing that happens. With one-on-one, we're only able to help a limited number of people, right? I think that's pretty clear. There's only so much of you or so much of your team that can go around. And so, you just can't infinitely like help everyone. If 100 new clients wanted to come work with you tomorrow, you would have to turn some of them away. In fact, probably most of them away, depending on your service and how long it takes you to fulfill for each client. Also, right, this makes a lot of times clients dependent on you. So like dependency of like, you must be the person to solve my problem doesn't always help with self-sufficiency. And then also it's totally dependent on your time or your team's time. Like that's how you get paid, is by time. So that's the old model of coaching, but there's also a broken model right now. And I am going on a limb here. There are tons of online courses that are great. Online courses have changed my life. Courses. And there's a few reasons for this, right? Obviously, there are attractive reasons why we would want to go into just having an online course, right? The pros are it's viewed as passive income. I put it in quotation marks here because the reality is if any of you have sold online courses, and we've sold almost $500,000 in online courses over the last like 2.5 years, is you have to do a lot of upfront work, and there's marketing time involved. There's sales time involved. It's not totally passive unless, again, you've outsourced to a team or you've hired a team, which again requires someone to manage. And you're looking at, well, what are the margins then for that to be sustainable? I mean, you realize like you got to be selling something that's $1,500, $2,000. And most people aren't selling $1,500 to $2,000 courses. And to be honest, a lot of times people don't get results with those programs. The other pros are, right, it's infinitely scalable. If you had huge lead source coming in, you could sell as many courses and there would never be a problem on fulfillment outside of, let's say, like software not being able to keep up with the amount of customers coming in. And you can have unlimited impact, and meaning like, hey, 20,000 people could buy your product, your course tomorrow, and like they could all get helped if they were all to go through it. And that's why I'm going to set this up is like, if they all go through it, right? So here's the cons, right? Completion and success rate of clients is very, very low with just an online course because it requires clients to hold themselves accountable. And I know what you're saying. Well, that's a them problem. Well, it is a them problem until they don't get results and they start telling other people it's really great, but I didn't go through it and I didn't get results. Then it's a you problem. And so that's why we are so focused on this model, because in the end, and what we're going to talk about here in a minute of what we've moved to is, in the end, client results are what allow you to scale. You can sell up to a certain point on belief and a promise, but eventually if people aren't getting results, people are not going to want to tell other people to work with you, or they're going to say, he's a really great guy and I bought their course, but honestly, I didn't go through it. And I don't know like if it was even worthwhile. Versus someone who goes, I went through it. It was amazing. I felt connected. I got the result that I wanted. And they want to go share that with the world. There's also a few other cons, which is like, hey, an online course has a perceived ceiling of value, meaning that, if you said, hey, Will, I have this amazing online course, it's $25,000. I would probably be like, wow, that's crazy. Like I could go to college or community college for that price. Or the perception of online courses, especially if you're not solving wealth problems, say you're solving health and relationship problems, just an online course, there's a perceived value that people are willing to pay. And again, this is like on average, I would just say obviously there are exceptions, but this almost always requires a large audience or reach of new people to be continually pumping into your pipeline, especially if you're just selling an online course and it's under like $500 to $1,000. Constantly need new people. If you're going to have a $10,000 a month business, you need 20 people buying your course every single month for $500 a month for you to be hitting the numbers that you want. And that's like, then you got to do it again and again, and the next month and the next month and the next month, right? And the other thing is the barrier to entry for creating a course is super low. Luckily, we have incredible software technology that allows us to make these programs and courses, which is great, but it also means that the quality isn't always being as high as we would like. And therefore people are starting to say, ooh, I don't know if it's worthwhile to get a course. I've taken some courses that weren't really good in the past. And we're fighting this wave of people coming in, which is amazing that people have the ability to make courses easier and easier. But if the quality is going down, then people start to look at the whole maybe online education course model as like, trust can go down. Like start looking at it differently. So what we realized after all of this is we were selling online courses. We were also doing one-on-one coaching. And there's a time and a place, by the way. We love one-on-one coaching to prove that you can get results for other people. And if you haven't worked with at least 5 people one-on-one and gotten them results, or you've given it everything you've got and at least the majority are getting results, I highly recommend that you start there. Like, to me, the idea that you should create an online course and you've never worked with people one-on-one and gotten them results is it's kind of crazy. Like, I understand it's possible and some people have probably even made it work, but the likelihood of it working is pretty low. Like, when you go to a course route, you need to have a process that works for the average amount, like the majority of people. And the only way that you figure that out is working one-on-one with people to figure out where the common places that they get stuck and what kind of, fail-proof systems do we need to put in place that get them past those places that they get stuck. And same with an online course, right? If we just sell an online course and there's no one-on-one impact here of knowing like where people are finding it useful, not finding it useful, going in and solving problems when they get stuck, well, then the success rate goes down. And then we're not able to market it again as successfully if people aren't getting results. So we always start with one-on-one coaching. Then we also, for us, we do courses at, even now, we don't just sell online courses. We've shifted away from just an online course. We always have some type of coaching component with whatever course that we do. And that's what's led us to what we do now. And we're by no means the first people to ever do this or think of it. But we just had so many people asking us lately, like, how are you getting your program to be scalable while still being able to coach people and not like lose your mind? And why did you guys do this when you had online courses and you still added in some type of coaching program? And so we're going to go through, I'm going to walk you through exactly what we do and the systems involved and why we recommend this. Like, this is really the ideal program style that we recommend to people. Outside of, if you've never gotten anyone results, you should definitely do one-on-one coaching first for at least 5 people. Like, that's what we tell any of our clients, any of our students. You want to at least work with people, like 5 people one-on-one through the process that you think your program would be about and make sure that it works with them. Because if it doesn't, then you're selling a program, you're creating a program, selling it to people, and you don't even know if it's going to get them results. So that's like priority, right? Again, go back to the beginning. Who's right for this training? People who care about getting their clients results. So what do we do now? The modern model. It's the hybrid coaching program. So what are the pros and cons of this? So what we're going to walk you through and I'm going to show you is our leverage delivery, it's a tough word to say, while including client support. Meaning, how can we serve 10, 15, 20 new clients every single month that come on board without them feeling lost or left behind? Pros are we can get more impact than just one-on-one. And a con here I also put is like, it's obviously not infinitely scalable. There is a point in which this would break, whereas an online course, you can just keep pumping, right? As a product, just sort of like t-shirts, as long as there's supply. But with this model, right, like at some point it could break. However, I'm going to show you, like, you can get up really, like, work with a lot of clients before you even face that problem. Things that I love about this model, you get such better connection with clients. You actually get to see them, talk with them, get to know them. And they become, your clients, we have found, become more self-sufficient because of the support that's available to them. Meaning they look for help themselves or through other community members rather than just being dependent on you and your time. This is like critical, right? If you're in here and you've watched, if you're watching this and you've had endless amounts of Facebook Messenger messages or Voxer messages or email support, like just endless. And so many of those questions are just questions that come up that could be better served and other people can answer in for you. Like, man, when people can become self-sufficient, it's amazing. And one of the cons is, yes, this is going to require some of your time. However, it is leverage time. And I'm going to show you it's only a few hours a week. And Alex and I spend maybe 5 to 7 hours a week of delivery, which sets us up to have 20, 30, 40 hours a week of marketing and sales, which is what allows us to grow our program, which is incredible. So how does it look? Like, what does a hybrid coaching program look? And you might even be a part of one, but I want to break down sort of the mechanisms here that make this work. So the 3 core components are community, training, and coaching. Community, training, and coaching. So you'll notice that online course doesn't exist here. However, that is sort of what the training is. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in our program. Then we have a community, which could be, I'm going to show you how we do it, but we highly recommend a Facebook group. It could also be something like an app like Circle or the Mighty Network, where you can create or a Slack channel where you can create a specific community for your clientele. And it's somewhere where you can share wins, people can answer for each other, versus just totally relying on you to get back to them. Because there are tons of times we have people who in our programs who they have specific niches and have are at a certain point and may see something that's working differently than what we teach overall. And they're both super helpful and can help each other. And then lastly is coaching, right? That individual custom feel, that time with you. And I'm going to show you how we do this in what we call laser, we don't call it laser, but like these super specific, high touch 10, 15 minute slots where people come in on group calls and get the benefit of seeing what other people are going through and they get their questions answered. So let's go through this. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I want to show you, what does this look like for us then? Like, how do you do this? How do you implement this? I got to share my screen. Whoop. Let me get out of this. So how do we do this? We do this in 3 components. So we do, the very first thing is community. So we have a community that we use called, it's Facebook group. And this is for all of our clients. You'll see that we have 47 members, including me, I guess 48 members in this group. And we've been able to take on steadily 5 to 6 new clients every month and not breaking easily. And we have room to take on probably 40, 50 more before we might have to add in what you'll see is another call. But if you see, we have a community and every day people are posting and they're sharing their wins, which is awesome, right? I'm assuming most people in here have been a part of a Facebook group. So only to our members, and this is what's really cool, is you'll notice someone just made a post about what they found going on. They just are about to sell their $4,000 program to 4 new people, which is awesome. They just joined the program like a week ago, I think. And you'll notice that we have team, right? Like people supporting. This isn't Alex or I, right? Didn't even get till later where Alex comments. I don't even think I've commented yet on this post because it just happened like a little bit ago. And more sales, right? And so we get people who are actually supporting one another and people are answering for us, which leverages our time as the coach, and people feel like they're getting support. So people feel like not only are they hearing from Alex and I, which we'll show you in our coaching calls, but 2, that people are feeling like they're getting help from other people. Because if there's one thing we know, people going through a process that's requires work and effort, right, can be really lonely and isolating. And so adding in community is super powerful. And we highly recommend a Facebook group because it's free and it's simple to use. And most people are familiar with that. However, you can also use tools like the Mighty Network or Circle, which are both apps where you can essentially have like little mini communities. And then also, or something like even as simple as a Slack channel, where if you've never used Slack before, there are tons of YouTube tutorials on how to use Slack. And it's a sort of a free app on your phone. And it creates little categories and folders and little groups that you can have as well. But we really, really, really recommend a Facebook group. And what's so cool about this is this cuts down on our coaching call questions because a lot of them get asked in here. And we go through and we answer these questions like, hey, great. So this might normally be a question that someone might have in a one-on-one session, right? Like in a one-on-one session, and we're able to answer it here. And all I do is I check this once, maybe twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, and I answer all the questions. And then, that's it. Like that's all my time. It takes me like a half an hour, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. And usually a half an hour total, like 15 minutes in the morning, 15 in the afternoon. It's a half an hour a day, 5 days a week. That's math, like 2.5 hours a week. And then the other thing that we do, which is really cool, is these are our coaching calls. So twice a week, we have a 2-hour call. I do one on Tuesday from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern. Alex does one from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. And people sign up for 10-minute slots to come on. And why this is super powerful, and I highly recommend, even if you're selling an online course or you have or you're doing one-on-one coaching, is that people get to network and talk with one another. So you'll see we pull people on as they do, but everyone has a 10-minute time slot. And they can come on or leave at any point. They know when their time slot is and they can hop on or they can hop off. However, we also every once in a while open it up where it's just anyone can come on at any time. However, we try to keep it to 10-minute slots with one another. And why this is so powerful is we used to think having a 1-hour-long coaching session was the most important thing, and that's what would get people results. The coolest thing that we have found is that in these sessions for 10 minutes, this is my business partner, Alex, by the way, we have found that people actually come prepared with the number one most important question that they have right now. I don't know if you know Parkinson's law, but Parkinson's law is the more time you give someone, the more time they'll take to complete a task. Whereas if you give them less time, they'll actually complete that same task in that less time. But it's about the constraints that you give them. And so we only give people a 10-minute window to be able to answer their questions. And what's really cool is you'll notice when we have multiple people on these calls that people will jump in and say, "Oh, I have an idea for you." And now we're not the only ones coaching, because as smart as Alex and I are, or the coaches, prime coaches, we leverage the resources in the collective mind of all the people in our program, all the people in our group, which is absolutely incredible. And people love that they get results or get feedback or perspective from other people than just Alex and myself. Yes, they come looking at us as experts and want to be able to help them. But by being able to do this, it's so powerful that they can get both our input and the input of other people in the group who are kind of going through a similar journey that they're on as well. So these are the two big things. And this is really what we sell people on, is community and coaching support. What we don't sell people on is that the fact that they do get an online course and they get an online training program. And we use this more as a resource manual. So it doesn't mean if you have an online course, it's not a waste. In fact, it's super powerful. I'm going to show you, it used to be called Online Business for Healthcare. We're now changing this to what's going to be called Momentum, which is our program for helping people get clients and scale. And you'll notice, like, it looks like an online course. It's very much an online course. So let's say you're struggling with your offer. I go on and I break down in trainings, how do you break down your offer, right? And we use resources here. So I go through offer creation worksheet tutorial. I literally walk you through, like, hey, do you know what your offer is? But here's the deal. In an online course, just an online course, people do this and they have no idea if they can get they don't know how to get feedback. They don't know if what like what they're thinking is actually valid, or they don't feel supported. They don't feel like someone is actually looking in on their business. And so what I might say with someone is, hey, have you gone through and done your offer worksheet? No, I haven't done that yet. Hey, on the next call on Thursday or Tuesday, when we're back having a call, I need you to come prepared with that. In your 10 minutes, we're going to spend looking over this document, or post it in the Facebook group and I'll be able to get to it before next Tuesday. And then I might say someone's like, hey, I'm struggling with, how do I get people on Facebook to be able to reach out to me? Or how do I reach out to people on Facebook or, my Facebook group, right? And I'll say, hey, you should go watch week 4, client attraction. And we go through, like, how do you set up filling your calendar? How do you reach out to people? What are the things that you should say? And use the resource. Like, here's the direct outreach template. How do you start conversations with people who you need? And so rather than me sitting here every single call going through it, I say, hey, you need to go look through here. How do you reach out to these people? Here are examples that you can use. Here's examples that have landed us multiple tens of thousands of dollars by just reaching out to people like this. And you go, hey, great. An online course would just say, yep, go do it, implement it. Well, most people get nervous. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Hey, if you're confused or you're not sure, post in the group what you're doing, or 2, come to the coaching call on Tuesday or Thursday and come with that question. Is that the main thing? And we're always going back and using this mainly as a tool. So you'll see we go through, in our program, it's mainly about how do you get clients and attract clients and then deliver to clients in a scalable way. So we go to, like, online group program setup. So let's say you're going to a point where you're maxed out. Like, if you're on this call right now, how do we switch to an online group program? Well, here's the mechanics, right? Here's the mechanics of all of it. How are you going to set it up tech-wise? How are you going to deliver? How are you going to run your coaching calls? How are you going to make sure that people feel supported and track their process in the program? And this is what we go through, right? So then we go through, how do you set up your program? This here says Kajabi. You can do whatever type of program you want. We just recommend we show you what we do. How do you use webinars? And it's so powerful. If I pull this up, this is what the hybrid method of our program looks like. It's a combination of an online training portal, which we use as reference, but we do not make this the point of sale for people, which is, do you want our online course? We've learned that people want more than that. People want support. And ultimately, we found that people don't tend to get as good of results if they do feel supported and they have connection. And ultimately, our business is about helping people who are running these types of businesses actually get client results, because we do believe that client results are the most powerful thing that you can get for your business and for other people. So that's sort of the breakdown. And if I pull this up here and I can go through this last little bit, is why do we do this, right? So if you see the pillars here, community, we use Facebook group. Again, this could be Mighty Network, Slack channel, Circle as different programs. We highly recommend a Facebook group because it's like most users know how to use it. Clients know how to use it. Two is adding an online training program, your course, right? That's your manual of where to refer people to leverage your time of having to answer in video form all the questions you get asked all the time. But then we have these group coaching sessions, which are 10-minute slots for people to come with your number one biggest priority question. And we sit down and we break it down. If it's a bigger question, right? What happens if someone has a question that's like going to take long 10 minutes? Post it in the group. I'll make a Loom video on my own time, or a video, recorded video like this on my own time. And I will post it in the group so everyone else can see it. We really focus on transparency. That one video that can help one person likely can help 5, 10, 20 more people in the group. So why do we do this? Again, number one, focus on client results. Alex and I are huge believers that the longevity of your program and success depends on people getting results, not about you making sales. Yes, we have to make sales to get people in to help get them results. But long-term, if people do not get results, the ability to market and sell your program continually is going to suffer. So what are the key components of that? With coaching and leverage individual attention, meaning these group kind of coaching programs, sessions, you are able to impact them deeper. And also you can charge a more premium price. And for many of us who are trying to make this an actual business and not a hobby, you need to make enough money to be able to continue to market and invest in things like growing your business. And we need to be at a price point where you don't rely on 50, 100, 75, like 1,000 sales per month to keep you in business. And so moving to a model like this, yes, requires a little bit of your time, but it's leveraged to the point where you can increase the price because people feel like they're getting one-on-one attention. They are getting one-on-one attention. And lastly, this is super critical. Building relationships with clients yields to higher word-of-mouth referrals, which decreases marketing time and the amount of money we need to spend on reaching new people all the time. When your current existing clients are happy, they want to tell other people to work with you. So that's it. Hopefully that helps. Like, this is the back end, right? Know these things. You need community, you need a training, and you need coaching. And I know you might want to go to a passive model of just an online course, but again, focus on client results. Focus on client results. So I want to give you an invite here. If you're interested, if you're watching this and you're like, I need to move to this, I know this is what I need. And you've helped people, at least 5 people one-on-one, and you know that they can get results, and if you're running coaching business at the moment, or you're struggling to get results with just an online course, please, I highly recommend booking a call with us. And we're low-key guys. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to get on a 30-minute call. We're going to go over what your current business structure bottlenecks are. So we're calling this an online business structure. We're going to look at the structure of your online coaching business or course. And how are we going to change this? Like, where are you getting stuck? And how are we going to change this to the 1 to 2 needs that you're facing to get your business back on a path where you can scale for growth? And if it makes sense, yeah, why are we doing this? Why would I open up calls? Well, one, like, we just love connecting with people who are running these types of businesses, and we want to help people get focused on how they can grow their business and make sure that people are getting, their clients are getting results, because that's a huge passion of ours. 2 is that we know that there's going to be plenty of people who are like, I need help with this. Like, how do I actually implement all this? Will, I see the path, or Alex, I see the path, but like, I need help to hold myself accountable to make sure this happens. I need someone to look in on my offer. I need someone to look in on my sales process. Maybe you're breaking down in like selling to people. Or 3, I don't know how I'm going to tell my existing coaching clients one-on-one that we're going to move to a group model, which is what we help people with every single day in our business. If that's you, I want to invite you to book an online business structure call. There's no pressure at all to work with us. It's where we get to learn about you and your business. And if it makes sense, we'll let you know that it might make sense to work with us. And we'll tell you about our program, how we work with people. More importantly is that we set you on a path where you feel like, hey, I know what my next steps are, and I'm either going to work with you guys to do it, or I'm going to go knock them out myself. And I hope that helps. I hope this training was super helpful for you to see what we're doing in our business. This has allowed us to scale to where we're doing multiple 6 figures a year running a model like this. And we're able to spend less than 10 hours a week on delivery. Less than 10 hours a week on delivery, which is really, really, really cool. So hopefully this helps. Again, book a call, an online business structure call. If you would like help with this, you want someone to look in on your business, give you some advice. And if it makes sense to work together, we'll make that offer. And we'll catch you guys later. And hope this is helpful. And that's been it. I'm Will from Clients at Scale, and we'll talk to you guys soon.